Now we will look at the graph of cotangent. And remember, cotangent is defined as cosine of the angle divided by sine of the angle. So if cotangent is cosine divided by sine, everywhere that sine is 0, cotangent will be undefined. Sine is 0 at all multiples of pi. So sine is 0, at pi, 2 pi, 3 pi, 4 pi. So every time the angle hits the x-axis, on the positive side or the negative side, sine is 0. So cotangent is undefined and is defined at every x value except where sine is 0. And the vertical asymptotes of cotangent will be at all of the places where sine is 0. So that's once again the same place. It is at all multiples of pi. Cotangent also has a period of pi and a range of minus infinity to positive infinity, so I get all the y values. I just can't put in any x values that are multiples of pi because we get out something that is undefined. Just like tangent, cotangent is an odd function. Let's look at the graph of cotangent and see how it's similar and also how it's different to tangent. Here I have a table, just like we had with tangent, and we defined cotangent as cosine divided by sine. So we're going to look at the fractions of the sine and cosine values at these angles. So at minus pi, sine is 0. So cosine over sine gives us undefined. Here we have a positive 1, 0, minus 1, and 1 divided by 0 once again is undefined. Positive 1, 0, minus 1, sine is 0 here at pi, so we get undefined. Positive 1, 0, negative 1, and then back at 2 pi, sine is 0, so cotangent is undefined. So at all those x values where we got an undefined value, we will have asymptotes again. And for cotangent, we will actually keep track of the values between the asymptotes. So from 0 to pi, cotangent will start at 0 and end at pi. Pi units still, so the period is still pi, but its asymptotes start at 0 and end at pi. So when we graph cotangent, we will have an asymptote at 0. So at x value 0, we have an asymptote. At pi, we have an asymptote. And also at 2 pi. So all multiples of pi where sine is 0, we end up with our asymptotes. Now, at pi over 2, let's just go back up here a little bit. At pi over 2, the cotangent value is 0. At pi over 4, the cotangent value was a positive 1. And at 3 pi over 4, the cotangent value was minus 1. So our cotangent function looks very similar to that of tangent, but it looks like it's oriented in a different direction. Let's see here, we had 3 pi over 2, we were at 0. At 5 pi over 4, we had a cotangent value of 1. And at 7 pi over 4, cotangent value of minus 1. So cotangent repeats itself every pi units, and there are asymptotes at all of our multiples of pi. Now when we go to graph tangent and cotangent,